outside. I need to be doing something active because school was not cutting for me. I couldn't deal with sitting behind a desk. I need to be up and around and moving. Hence why I'm a gymnastics coach right now. You know what I mean? So I told him this is what I want to do. He's like, the description that you're putting out is infantry, and that's what I do. But he told me you're gonna be having to pick up a lot of weight and you gotta beef up a lot more. And I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. And I struggled for the first 2 years, year and a half. Even till my last year, I always struggled with rucking, when you have a big old backpack on your back with a bunch of weight and you're just walking. And you're just walking with weight, till this day. I look like a little duck. All the time. But yeah, what jobs are you interested in doing? Do you even know? Or that you know of?
I was interested in the infantry, but I was also looking for, I still haven't looked exactly, but I was also trying to see something for the future.
Right.
Not just for the
That's
moment.
very, 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 very smart. What are you interested in doing in the future? In your dream world, what would you like to do?
Dream world, I would like to, I like stocks and foreign exchange,
Okay.
stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't like working a 9-to-5 job,
Okay.
going in, just getting paid and barely making it through the week with that.
Okay.
And I also like to wear suits, so I also like business.
Okay. So, good news. Here's the thing about the military, man. The thing about the military is that the military is its own community. Think of it as its own country. There is a job out there for every single thing that you want to do. Not necessarily stocks, but you can always go into financing. They have jobs for financiers and stuff like that, or possibly loan officers, I'm not sure. But I'm sure that if you go look at the Marine Corps website, they have something that has to do with budgeting or financing or stuff like that. Sure, after your basic training, it might take a little bit longer through the school, and you're gonna have to bust your butt through that school to make sure you pass all those tests. Okay? Another thing I want to put you on real quick is that, let's say you go through your basic training, awesome, you pass it, great. You go to your specialized school for your job that you picked out. If you don't pass that job, or if you don't pass that school and you fail it maybe once, I don't know what the criteria is, or if you fail it twice, they're gonna say, sorry about your stuff, bro, but we're gonna pick a job for you. And you don't got a choice. You chose to serve. And we give you the luxury of picking what you want to serve as because you're volunteering. But if you're volunteering to fail, we're going to volunteer you somewhere else. And that's a very big word in the military. You'll hear it a lot, voluntold. You're going to be voluntold what to do. You get it? Okay. So there's a lot of being voluntold on what to do.
What if you know how I just told you about, you told me about financing, I told you about the other thing.
Stock.
Would I be able to do both? No, the thing that you did. Would I be able
Infantry?
Would I be able to do both?
Yes and no. I can only speak for the Army because I know how the Army works. I don't know. For the most part, I've been out for 4 years now. So I can only tell you on my experiences from then. In the Army, I'm not sure in the Marine Corps, in the Army there's a thing called reclassing. Okay? So, let's say that you pick one of the jobs that you're talking about. Infantry. Let's say you chose infantry first. If you were in the Army, after you complete your 3 years, I believe, you have the option to re-enlist, get out, or reclass. Reclass means that you get the ability to go to said professional school or training to go train as that job, and then you go do that job. You don't go back to doing the infantry. When you reclass, however, with some jobs, you might have to start back down to the original grade of E1. Yes. because you are starting over from scratch. You're in a different world.
And is that like going up and
That affects your pay. From E1, I think it used to be like $700, if that, a month or something like that. I don't know, every paycheck. But at the same time, that $700 is play money because you're already getting your food paid for, you're already getting your living situation paid for. You're going to live in a barracks room. Transportation you're getting paid for pretty much, unless you decide you want to buy a car, which you already have, so you can bring it over there for free. They'll pay for that, all that stuff. The money that you get is pocket money. You do whatever you want to do when you decide with it. I suggest you save it, but it's up to you. For your first 2 to 3 years, unless you have any of your own bills, like a cell phone bill or a car payment, that's what that money is going towards. Other than that, you're putting it in your pocket because you can go to the DFAC and eat for free over there.
I was told like for the boot camp it's 3 months.
Depends. Yeah.
How often do you get to come back home?
So that's a thing called leave. Leave, you get it just like at a regular profession when you're on salary. Do you know how that works?
Nah.
So if you're on salary, that means that you have to work 40 hours a week, right? When you're in the military, you're working more than 40 hours a week, just to let you know. But as every day goes on, or as every week goes on, you get point something of a day of leave, okay? So by the time you're done with your basic training in your schools or whatever, you might have a week accrued meaning you have a week saved up, and you can choose whether or not you can go home during that time, and it's paid vacation. You're getting paid as well.
Okay, so it just matters on the time that I'm there.
Exactly, but if you use it all up, you can't go out on leave at all whatsoever, unless it's like because, God forbid, your mother dies or your grandfather dies or whatever the case may be. If it's a very big family emergency, but even then, sometimes they could say no because you don't have any leave saved up. That makes sense. What I'm going to say about leave is you save it up as much as you can, and you save it for Christmas, or you save it for another big holiday that you want to do, or if you get married, you go on holiday with your wife. Don't get married for at least, you're laughing, don't get married for at least 2 to 3 years of you being in the military. Have her move over there, and y'all suffer and get an apartment together outside of base. That's not even allowed, but you can do it. People do it before you even decide to get married, because it is a totally different lifestyle, bro. Totally different lifestyle.
How would that work though? Like I'll be able to just go there instead of going to birds.
Yeah.
Oh, so pretty much I'm paying for that.
Yeah. But here's the thing, man. Here's why so many people get divorced. Because when you're married, they give you extra pay for your housing outside of the barracks. If they allow you to live outside of the post. If they allow you to. If you're a private for your first 2 to 3 years, they're gonna say no, you have to live inside of post. We're gonna pay for your housing then. That's pretty much what they do. Okay? And that's why it's so entertaining, because you, instead of the tiny little barracks room that you have, you get to live in a bigger space, a house or a townhome or whatever, or your own house outside of the post. And that's why it's so entertaining, and that's why so many people get married, because they're getting this extra cash and they get to save it up, and they're getting married and all that stuff when they're not really thinking about the lifestyle of being married. And so when that happens, they're not, when they do get married or whatever the case may be, then it's they don't pay attention to their wife or their husband or whatever the case may be, and a bunch of problems happen. It's a totally different, trust me, coming from a divorce myself, that I got married, and the reason why I got married was because I was scared for my life that I was going to die, and I wanted to have a family prior to. You get what I'm saying? Because I was close to dying. I've gotten blown up before. I've seen a lot of combat. The thing is this, is that even though you do have a family, even though you are married, for the woman or for the male that's in the relationship that is not in the military is a totally different change of lifestyle. It's a totally different community. And that's why I say do the trial first with your girlfriend or whoever your significant other may be, and do it and suck it up. If that's what you really want, suck it up and go through those really, really hard times of not getting that extra pay from the military. So that way you know it's gonna work. That way you know she's gonna stick with you. Does that make sense? That's a huge piece of advice I can give you right now. Your first 2 years, man, it's not hell. It just sucks. First year and a half. Because if you think about it, your first 3 months, like you said, is basic training. Then after that, 3 more months or plus of your job training. And through that whole entire time, they're treating you like a little kid. Because that's what you are to them. Part of the culture. Sweep, mop, clean the toilets, do your laundry this way. We want you to fold it this way. We want you to tie your shoes this way. We want you to do your uniform this way. If you do it wrong, too bad, so sad. You're gonna do some exercising here and there. They still do that, but they don't do it to the extent that they used to.
Does it matter what job you choose? Or still teach you how to combat?
They have to teach you all the combat stuff first. That's what the basic training is. They teach you how to shoot your rifle. If you're in the Marine Corps, they're going to teach you how to shoot your rifle, how to shoot, move, and communicate, how to do a chin-up properly, sit-ups, all that stuff. They're going to teach you all that basic stuff, because let's say that ish hits the fan one day and there's a big, huge war, they need to know that you can protect yourself and others around you. And then after that, you go into your finance job or your infantry job or whatever that you're choosing to specialize in.
If you could give me one advice, like out of all this, that you would find most important, what would it be?
Go with your gut. Go with what your gut tells you. Do the research first. Do the research first. Do the research on your, and by research, I don't mean just looking at their website. I mean, because we're on the social media age right now, right? Where you can look up everyone that's doing that job. You type in whatever their word for it is, infantrymen for Marines or whatever. I don't know what their word for it is. They're combat specialist or whatever. You type that in on Instagram, look it up, DM everybody that pops up that you see on their information page, I am this. DM them, hey, what's it like in the first 2 to 3 years of this job? What can you tell me about it? This and that and the other. Don't be scared of doing it. Worst comes to worst, they don't answer you. Or they say, nah man, go ask somebody else. Do your research. I'd rather you do that and get denied from now all the way until November or December or whenever you decide to go talk to the recruiter and talk to them about it. So that way you're not going into it totally blind, and that way you're less likely to suffer for those first 2 to 3 or 4 years that you sign a contract. Does that make sense? What else? Do what you're told, unless it completely feels totally, completely 1,000,000,000% wrong. Okay, for your first few years, do what you're told, and also be very eager to learn. The best leaders are the people that are asking all the questions and trying to learn the most about their job, so that way when it is their time to lead, because your leader at the time, if you're asking, if you're learning, and you're putting that knowledge into use, they're going to see that, and then they're going to tell their superior, their leader, hey man, we should give him a shot at leading some of these other guys that are coming in.
Have you ever led?
Yeah. I was so...
Nervous?
Huh?
Are you nervous?
Oh, of course. Of course. And I've made plenty of mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes as a leader. It's part of it. Just like you make mistakes as a subordinate or as an employee, you're going to make mistakes as a leader, and that's how you learn. And the difference between a good leader and a bad leader in my eyes is being able to say when you messed up and telling your subordinates, hey, I messed up, this is what I'm going to do to make it better, and also talking to them, asking them for their opinion on what do you think would make the situation better. Does that make sense? What other questions you got, man? Dude, if you ever have any questions for me, don't be scared to. She has my number. You can text me, call me. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can hit me up on there. Whatever you need, man. I got you. I wanted to video this because I've gotten this question at least 6 times or so since I've gotten out of the Army. And while I've been in the Army, I don't even remember how many times I've gotten this question. So that's why I wanted to put it up on my YouTube YouTube channel, because I want to be able to help people out with this kind of thing. So I appreciate you letting me record it.